Morning, everybody. I'm here to introduce and kick off this presentation. Dr. Jim Jansen is an associate professor in the College of Information Sciences and Technology here at Penn State. He has more than 200 publications in the area of information technology and systems, with articles appearing in a multidisciplinary range of journals and conferences. Dr. Jansen is also a member of the editorial boards of 6 international journals. His specific areas of expertise are web searching, sponsored search, and personalization for information searching. Dr. Jansen is also a 2011 TLT Faculty Fellow, and his talk today about the outcomes of that fellowship is titled Designing Mobile, Location-Aware, and Socially Networked Learning Assistance. He's joined today by his graduate student, Partha Muchiki, and his other students, Justin Menapace and Kara Latos. So please welcome and join me.
Hi, Brad. Thank you very much. Yeah, the introduction already happened, but yeah, Perth is a grad student in IST, and Kara and Justin are the members of the marketing and IST departments. And we're going to talk about an app we developed as part of the TLT fellowship that we did over the summer. That we implemented in a course this semester and are evaluating it as we speak. So, kind of the bottom line up front, our goal was to develop a mobile learning assistant. Okay, this is a snapshot of it on a smartphone. And the goal is we wanted something that would provide students non-static content, dynamic access, and be collaborative for both the professor and the students in the classroom. And I said we did field it this semester and currently collecting analytics on it, and hopefully we can report it later this semester on how the whole thing went, but I want to show you what we've done so far. Right. The issues was that course content for classrooms, at least in my opinion, is typically very static. For example, the instructor, typically organize some classroom notes, prepare some presentations, make some periodic exercises, things like that. Checks the assignments. And to me, it's really a very confined environment. There's very little collaboration by the students in the direction of the content, and it permits not a lot of participation by the students in the knowledge base of the course itself or in the course themes. And in practice, as a professor, there's very little course improvement year after year. I mean, you can pick up a few things as a professor, but you throw in some research and service, and the amount of time you can keep up on a course really is kind of minimal. And in courses like in technology, and in this particular course, keyword advertising is a constantly changing area. So what we kind of, our motivation here, is we wanted to make it, the content accessible to the students no matter where they were in the classroom or not, kind of taking advantage of that 24/7 learning, lifelong learning aspect. And there have been a lot of theoretical works that the easier information is to access, the more it's going to get utilized. We want to make it very dynamic, all right, where the students could access to this app real-world applications. I want to make it collaborative, where students can participate, not only use the material that the professor provides, but also material that the students themselves provide, and kind of shape and direct the course themselves. Participatory, where students can, not only kind of on a receive mode, maybe a little bit of class discussion, but actually comment on things that, again, not only the professor is presenting, but what other students are bringing to the classroom. And again, do that in a way that's not just confined to in their classroom themselves. And then reinforcing, kind of this spiral improvement semester to semester. Again, it's similar to, there's not a lot of time to really improve a course, or keep it updated. I really felt, every time I taught a course, it's like, wow, kind of rebooting this thing and starting over again. Why can't we build on what students have done for the previous semester and have these students start at a more advanced point? And so that was another one of the goals. All right. So the kind of research trajectory, we want to design a mobile app that provides continuous real-time content improvement for the students, okay? Move the students from data manipulation to solving real-world problems, and then be able to leverage location and social attributes of mobile for learning enhancement. So our implementation, we want to move off the desktop and design a mobile app that really incorporates all the aspects of the classroom or classroom content, but move a lot of the discussion and interaction outside the classroom. Okay, and the classroom itself just being one particular aspect of what the students' learning engagement. Just a quick thing. Some of the data for this was funded by a Charles Institute for Teaching Excellence grant a couple years ago, and before I really had the idea of what I was wanted. I hired a student to sit with teams in this course as they went through the problem-solving process and say, okay, what type of stuff did they use? What problems did they have? How did they solve those problems if they did, what they did not? And so I used some of this data to kind of shape what I wanted to do with this particular, application. Okay. Why mobile? I mean, there's a lot of different approaches to take on something like this. Here's a chart from the Pew Internet American Life Project, where I'm a fellow, and it shows cell phone usage, okay, percentage of demographic, and then by age group. All right, and cell phone usage is on pace or outpacing actual internet usage for all age groups, and you see here for the traditional college demographic, it's really at near saturation levels. Meaning those students, 95%, 95 out of every 100 of those students has a phone, and increasingly those are smartphones. On the tablets, again, this is from September 10. Tablet usage among that particular age demographic is only 5%, but it is the highest, of course, of any of the demographics. Again, it's kind of what are the trends? Well, that data was from September 10. If we look 4 months later. All right, this is again from Pew, January, should be January 12, sorry. This is tablet ownership for all age groups. So if you look at our particular demographic here, okay, this is the dates, 24% of college age, 24% of those who are college age now own a tablet. It's up 500% in 4 months. The holiday season was just an amazing impact on tablet ownership. Again, not only for the college age demographic, but for all demographics. All right, again, just in 4 months. And I think, if you look at the trend, I think, tablet ownership is outpacing cell phone ownership. And I think just last month I saw it outsold desktops and laptops. So I mean, I think we have a good platform there for what we want to do and kind of channel this into the mobile area, right? So kind of the advantage of this app and this approach, downloadable onto smartphones. Okay. Again, we designed this is a code in HTML5. A lot of the content is cacheable on the cell phone. It allows for student access to secure networks. Okay, in this case, Yammer. Students can then and instructors can upload files into different peer groups. Again, a lot of that material is downloadable, cacheable on the cell phone. And it allows direct access to real-world applications that students are using in this course to accomplish their course project. For the particular course, we are implementing this in a keyword advertising course I'm teaching. Right? The course is the Google Online Marketing Challenge. Right? It's a worldwide competition held every year. Last year there were about 50,000 students from 100 countries participate. Right? Students are given $250. They're linked up with small, medium-sized enterprise, and they design and implement a keyword advertising campaign for that company and run it for 21 days. Okay, and this is the 4th year I've done it, and it's just a wonderful, amazing learning opportunity and a real-world engagement, and to take some classroom learning and apply it directly during the course, to a real-world problem and see the results. And you're graded against, 5,000 other teams to see how you do. So it's an external evaluation. All right, I'm the professor, of course, so that's enough for me. I'm going to turn it over to here for some students. And first, we have Karen Latos, Junior from the marketing department, who's in the course. And so we're going to get some comments from her on what she thinks about the app and things like that.
Should I stand over here or over there?
Whatever you like.
Okay. Doesn't matter, I guess. This one's...
Yes.
Okay. So I'm a junior marketing major. I'm in the class, and I was just going to go over a little bit on our campaign and how this mobile app is going to help my team through our campaign, and a little bit about my campaign specifically. We picked a florist downtown in State College. All the screenshots here are from my Android phone, so I know I'm a little bit behind technology. I don't have the iPhone, but it does work from an Android just fine. And this is a screenshot from my phone. And these are tools that we can use through our campaign. That's Google AdWords. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with all these things. And then we have Yammer, which is our networking and classroom site that we use a lot, and IST402 content, which is pretty much any information that you would need to email the teacher about is pretty much posted. Everything there, advice, tools, stuff about the class. So it's pretty helpful, and it is really helpful through our campaign because our campaign hasn't started running yet, but this is my team, and this is the screenshot that I took, and so everything is 0 right now because we haven't run our campaign. But this would just allow us, when we do launch our campaign, to be able to see our clicks, our impressions, and our costs while the campaign is running. Really easy from my phone and my 2 other teammates' phones throughout the day. And we don't all need to meet up and be at a computer, and we can see if everything is going the way that we have hoped that it's going, or if things aren't going the way as far as like costs and our clicks, because things need to be changed because we're on a tight budget. So this is the type of campaign where you constantly need to be looking at things and making sure that everything is okay, because if it's not, you need to make changes to either your keywords or your ads and make sure that this campaign runs as successfully as possible for your business. So it's pretty helpful in that aspect. These were just some screenshots. Everything's pretty much 0, and our company that we chose is called Woodring Squirrel, so they don't have too much internet action. That's why that line is very steady, but we're hoping from the Google AdWords campaign that they don't have that so far. That's why the paid versus organic search is 0 and everything like that. But we're hoping that hopefully we can increase a lot of their site traffic and in-store foot traffic from this campaign. So these types of things, these tools, this is a screenshot of SpyFu, will allow us to throughout the day get real-time access onto if the site search traffic and impressions are improving, which will be direct results of our campaign, which we're hoping and looking for through all of our hard work that we've put into this. Just another tool that I thought would be helpful for you guys to see. This is actually a really helpful tool, this Keyword Spy, because it actually goes through and shows you all the top search queries for your business. And even though my business, Woodring's Flow, doesn't have a huge searching, it does show like which percentages are the highest for Woodring's. So like State College Florist and State College PA Flowers are the top like 25% search queries for those 2 things. So that's even not before the mobile app. That's been a helpful tool as well, because we've been able to hone in on some of the things that we know are the biggest searches for our company. And that was pretty much it for all I had to say about the apps, but that's pretty much how the mobile app is going to help us through our campaign. And then I just did a screenshot of only a few of the tools, but all those tools you can pull up just like that on your mobile and be able to see those. And then the Yammer function, which is just as accessible as everything else through the mobile app, is what Justin is going to talk about, and that's a tool that we all use in class to communicate, and it's an advice, and we post on there. We were posting, Jim McCarr is posting, so that we can all see different things from perspectives on the internet on how to best maintain and make our campaigns. So turn it over to Justin to talk about Yammer.
Thanks. All right, well, this is Yammer. I actually just want to add that what Dr. Jansen was saying earlier, as of a week ago, I am one of those students who are in the demographic that do own an iPad. I was at Best Buy getting his new iPads, and part of the 3 million who got it on launch day. And it really is amazing. I mean, I bring it to all my classes, and it really works with a lot of the tools that we use in this class specifically. But I'm going to be talking about how Yammer is used both on the iPod and the iPhone. Does everyone know what Yammer is? Is everyone here on the Yammer network?
There's people not explaining.
Basically, Yammer is Facebook for business. When you log on to it, it looks almost exactly like Facebook, same style. You can post pictures, links. You can also upload documents like PowerPoints, PDFs. It's free for all students, faculty, and staff. You just go to yammer.com, enter in your Penn State email address, and you're automatically put right into the Penn State network. It's really cool because people post all kinds of questions, topics, websites, and other people comment, and it's kind of big collaboration suite where people can put in their opinions, their knowledge. You could ask questions, people answer them. It's really useful. And as a student, it's really helpful that Yammer has a great mobile app on both the iPad and the iPhone. These aren't to scale, I just blew up the iPhone so you could see it. But in the class, in the Google Marketing Challenge class, every week each team will actually post an article on different topics that have to do with the Google Marketing Challenge to the Yammer page. And it could be a blog, it could be a post, found anywhere on the internet, and then the other students will comment on that. What's really cool is Yammer, as it's on mobile, it's accessible anywhere, so you just don't have to be on the computer. I'll oftentimes be on a CATA bus or something. I can open up Yammer, look at what article's been posted. So it's really convenient. We just open up. Here's an example of Yammer running on both things. So this would be like the stream. So as you can see, it is because kind of look just like Facebook. People can like stuff, people can comment. You can be put in, when you join, you're automatically put into the Penn State network, and then you can be put into subgroups. So we have a group just for our Google Marketing class. So here's an example from, this is our actual group in the class, and there's some articles that people posted, people have commented on. You can actually view the articles right in the app too. So if you click on the app, it'll open it up. You can see what people comment. And it's cool because some blogs will actually, if they have a mobile version of their site and you open their blog in the Yammer, it'll automatically open in the kind of the iPhone mobile version, so it takes away all the side stuff like the ads, and it'll just present the article, which is really cool. And then you can comment right on it, add to the bottom, like comments like that. So it's really cool, like using Yammer, I guess both inside and outside the classroom. It's 24/7, and you can also communicate with other people in the class. So it's not just 3 hours a week we're in the class, it's almost 24/7 because we're always on there. Everyone's always on their smartphones, and it's really helpful. And I think a lot of students and faculty benefit from it. So I'm going to be passing it on to Partha.
Good morning, I'm Partha Mukherjee. I'm a PhD student under Dr. Jim Jensen. Actually, I'm just over here to discuss about the development of this particular app, which I did in last summer. So basically, the tools that I took help of is for this development of the app is HTML5 and JavaScript. This HTML5 actually is the latest version of the HTML, which actually contains certain features which helps me to build this particular app, or rather you could download this app onto your smartphone or on computer, even if the network is blocked off. So I have just implemented that particular feature, which actually turned as .manifest file, and on that particular manifest file I just include the links of those assistive tools, and as well as the content. It is IST 402 content because this is a course specific app actually. So in this particular .manifest file actually helps the user helps to store the web page offline. So even if you are out of internet, that means if you don't have internet in your machine, even if that particular cache will help you to land on that particular page if you just type that URL on the browser. So even if the internet is not on, you could still land into that particular page. So and the work that we are just currently working on is to download the content of the course, even if the internet is off. So we are just working on that because that is in our hand. We have to just upload the files that is relevant to the particular course into our server, so that even if it is offline, we could download those slides or courses from the server offline. And moreover, by actually take the help of JavaScript because it actually helps me that if how many times I just click a particular link or how many times I click an assistive tool. It just helps me to count that. And lastly, I just collected some data or by means or rather implement some web analytical tools. That means I take the help of Google Analytics. And this Google Analytics actually collected the data. That means how many times that particular app is accessed, and the country-specific users. That means the user resides in which country. That means the users who are accessing those tools, they're residing in which particular country. And moreover, how frequent are they? That means how much time they have devoted for access that particular thing. That means how much time they're on that particular app, and what is the number of unique visitors, the number of the returned visitors. That means information about the mobile device. That means which particular phone they are using. Are they using Android phones? Are they using the iPhones? These things. And the type of mobile operating systems and browser use, what type of browser they're using, whether they're using the Internet Explorer or Mozilla or Google Chrome to access that particular app. And what are the mobile operating systems, whether it is a BlackBerry phone or rather it is an Apple iPhone and operating system, these things. And that is by means of the JavaScript. But the web pages that assistive tools actually browse. That means what are the different URLs that a particular user is accessing while he is learning that particular app, or rather while he is learning that particular course. Or what are the different assistive tool URL that he is using and how many times they're using. And more, that is the geolocation of the users. That means in which country the user or the learner belongs. So these are the I have taken the data for the month of December, and I have found that there are 32 visits, and out of these 32 visits, there is 16 unique visitors. Now you see that the users actually using the browsers, that is their Firefox, Safari, and Google Chrome. That means the users actually uses this Firefox to visit that particular web page 15 times, Safari for 15 times, and Chrome for 2 times. That is the mobile devices info that the users are using when accessing that particular apps by utilizing their smartphones. Means some is Apple iPhone, there is some Apple iPod Touch or iPad, whatever they're using. But I think this particular thing not set. Because the Google Analytics or the Web Analytics won't identify what type of phone it is, because someone has used or rather accessed this particular URL by this BlackBerry phone operating system. So the device which actually where this BlackBerry operating system is installed, that particular type of phone or type of mobile device is not identifiable by this Web Analytics. That is why it is given not set. And the operating systems is iPhone, iPod, these things, and the students or rather the users who access this particular URL by this iPhone, that is of 9 times. That means there are 9 visits by means of iPhones, and 1 for iPod and 1 for BlackBerry. And this is the particular data that I am taking in a different month. That is the January or February, I think. So these are the links. That is the assistive technologies, that is the Yammer or SpyFo, what Justin has described. And you see, this is the JavaScript actually did work well for me. for us, that means this alexa.com, this particular URL is visited. I'm sorry. So you see that this alexa.com, there are a total number of events that is for 10. Here the total number of events is how many times this alexa.com has been clicked. And moreover, what is the geoselector tool? That means geoselector means in which particular area we are conducting our business, that particular tool is visited 9 times, or rather clicked 9 times, and so on. And moreover, this is the yammer.com, and this yammer.com in this particular period found that there are 4 visits. Now this is the list portion, that means that is the country-specific users, because here we find that every user is in the United States. So actually that is why only one country has been shown in this particular lab. So this is the most overall the developmental phase that we have as of yet. And after that we are trying to build how this course material could have been downloaded into the smartphone or into the iPad, even if the internet is off. So that is our goal, and we are just version in this phase. So we are just given
Great. Yeah, our plan of this app is, since HTML5 is this platform and device independent, so we want to actually just make it available to everybody. And there's a whole search engine marketing industry that outside of education that we think could be very helpful for them. So we're just going to, once we kind of work out a few tweaks to make sure it's good, we're just going to make it available to anybody. And so still we have a collection of analytics worldwide to see who's used it both inside academia and outside of academia. And also, we phased in the app. We kind of started with the course content, introduced Yammer, then introduced the application, and the students' campaigns kick off at midnight at 0001 on Monday. That's like run on 21 days. So we'll be able to collect some analytics as they're kind of using their iPhone in the actual implementation of the campaign. Yeah.
I'm sorry, so for clarity, the app itself is a collection of resources for the students to use on this project?
Well, it is there are a collection of resources that are available on the web to them in terms of resources and applications and tools to help them manage their campaign. So, for example, if they're having a problem, okay, I'm not getting enough impressions, which is the key metric in pay-per-click advertising. They can use one of these tools to find out particular solutions to address that. Additionally, they also have access to all the course content, all the slides, okay, the lecture material. They also access Yammer with all the articles and the conversations that the students have had about the articles. So it's kind of about the core, kind of the entire course is with them, on the cattle bus, walking between class, whenever. What we're trying to address is, with this, is some real-time content improvement where, the course is not set, just at the start of the semester with the professor, but the students can really participate and actually change the direction. That it provides the students a collection of information that they have with them, really 24/7. Exploit some of the social attributes of mobile technology. Moving it off the desktop, which I think facilitates getting learning outside the classroom. And it provides for this spiral kind of course improvements. Like many of the articles, there's 48 students in class, collecting multiple articles each week. I mean, I could never keep up with that in the field. And with all the conversations that are going on, I can look at these articles and say, why is that article getting so many likes, so many comments? And I look at that and say, that's maybe because it's the presentation is written in a level that it's presented to the students in a way that they can really see. And so some of these articles I'm just going to incorporate into my course material at the start of next semester, and then I'm hoping for that again those students to being able to leverage the efforts and the learning that the students in this particular semester have done. And, and this, for me as an instructor, I think this spiral course development is important. And it's not just, even though I am a fan of technology, I realize it's not the only solution and it shouldn't be done without a process. So I'm taking some other measures to facilitate that. So like in this course, the students are divided into teams, 16 teams, 3 students each. And they all have access to the app. But what I've also done is each team has a mentor. And he's a student that has graduated from the course previously and has agreed to mentor a Penn State team. And by the way, all these mentors have graduated. They're no longer students. So they're working, many of them in the keyword advertising area. They have their own jobs, and so I said, well, let me try this mentor thing. And I said, am I going to be able to get 16 mentors for these teams? And really, I got so many responses back, yes. I had to turn like 10 people down, saying, no, I don't have a team for you. And so throughout the course, the teams are contacting these mentors, saying, hey, when you started your campaign, what are some issues you looked at? Oh, when you tried to have key problems with generating ad copy, what particular issues or what particular course of action did you take? And so again, I think being able to have these students have already went through the course, experienced it with their own successes and failures, and now many of them in the industry, I think that is also helping a lot. Moving the course forward and not just keeping it at a level that it was. I mean, I can already see a difference as a professor. These are just some references that drew on this research, that drew on for this research. And I want to just do a big thanks to Alan, who kind of runs the center where the TLC teaching fellows are. Co-Campbellese, who's really pushed the program, and the TLC fellowship is an amazing program. It's just been an amazing experience so far. And also big thanks to Brad. Brad and Parth and I worked together during the summer, and we started with this app, so we're going to design it for the iPhone, so we spent like weeks with this whole iOS development. And during the summer, Brad jumped in at 2 times that have really made a very, very amazing positive change in course direction. And one was in the development that about halfway through said, I think we ought to scrap this whole thing and do it in HTML5. And it was really smart way to go, made a platform independent. Also at the start, we wanted to use this whole weblog thing for the sharing of knowledge and materials. And we were having trouble getting the whole thing cached and was having so many problems. And Brad said, why don't we try this Yammer thing? And we're trying. And so if I had to pick out the 2 positive, really kind of neat features of the app was, the portability and the Yammer thing, and they both came from Brad. So, it was really, thanks a lot. It was amazing. So, and with that, just happy to take any questions you may have. Yes?
What's the course number?
It's IST 402 Google Online Marketing Challenge. Teach it every spring. Penn State's done great. Okay, there's we've done so 3 years I've taught it. The key thing is being the top 15 worldwide, and every year we've had one. First year we had 1 team. The second year we had 3 teams in the top 15, and the third year we had 2 teams. So that's like 0.001% of the teams participating. So, and if you get in the top 5, they ship you up to Google for a few days. Yes, Dave.
First, I want to say it's awesome to see how you're teaching this class because I'm a direct beneficiary of it this semester.
Oh yes, you're one of the clients.
Thanks to, Mike Alexander, actually Auburn State is one of the client companies. But I wanted to ask the students a question. Could you describe what kind of feelings you get from Yammer? Maybe contrast them to the feelings you can get from say Facebook or Angel.
I mean, I guess I do compare it. It's almost exactly like Facebook, but I guess in a professional setting. So it's kind of it's like Facebook without all the nonsense.
Do you like it?
I mean, yeah, I really like it. I mean,
is fun a word you would use to describe it?
I mean, fun. I mean, it's cool to kind of see the different conversations that go on, kind of what people are talking about, what people post.
Would you rather log into Angel or Yammer?
I feel like they're both like completely different, and I like the way I like that Facebook. I mean, people are comparing it to Facebook, but I mean, I like that this is a professional type of posting, and Facebook is separate from it because I would hate that the two would like interlink because I would not be posting things about my classes on Facebook unless I need last minute help studying at 5 a.m. in the morning. But I mean, like, I like that they're two completely different settings, and yes, the setup is similar to Facebook, and you can compare it like that, but
Sorry, just one more follow-up.
Yeah.
Matt has a question too, and I just don't want to take his thunder.
Dave, can I also say what I feel about it?
Here's my question.
Because as a professor, I mean, you know, I teach 2 courses, just under 100 students a semester. And so in this particular course, 48 students, okay. And, you know, I have a lecture, okay, I go around, meet the teams, I may get 45 seconds to talk to them individually. And the fact you can look at these comments and say, oh, wow, what an interesting insight into that particular student's personality or perception, or sometimes students that I think aren't getting in class, they'll have these like, wow, that's an extremely insightful comment. And we've talked about that. A lot of the comments are as good, if not better, than the articles they're commenting on. It's just really, as a professor, I mean, I feel closer, I guess, to the students than I would if I didn't have that continual feedback or that continual kind of insight into their.
Well, my follow-up is just to draw up that continual comment on the schedule of like when you're posting. Is it more normal distribution than you would find in class? Like at night, are you doing it at night? Are you doing it?
I guess usually usually personally I'll post an article maybe in the class, but then I'll go back and look at articles out of class at night, you know, on the go between classes on a catabus. And that's when I'll read other people's articles, other people's posts, comment. So.
Karen, you want?
Yeah, I get the notifications on my phone every time someone posts a Yammer, so I'm usually always reading the stuff on Yammer because it always comes to my phone, and the only way to get off my phone is if I open it up, but I mean, it's fine anyway because it works out, so, yeah, I mean, I would say it's not like, it's more of I read it more often than I guess I would say that I could go on and post, except when it's like assigned to. But I mean, I get the same that I do out of posting that I do from reading it and getting the notifications.
Matt, you were not.
Yeah, I was going to ask you some questions about Yammer. You know, you kind of answered, you know, the feeling you're getting, but going beyond this. So the next time you come around Yammer, do you see yourself doing something different with it, expanding upon it, to just?
Well, yeah, the Yammer, I like it a lot. It doesn't do everything I need to do as an instructor. So a lot of times I have to tell them, okay, you got to do this in Angel, you know, stuff like that. But I think the next thing I'd really like to do is tie in these mentors more closely. You know, actually have them, friends and PSU accounts, get on Yammer, and and then have them a little space for their teams where they can have these little personal conversations that, like I'm having for the entire classroom. Because I on one hand I tell the teams, all these these mentors, they have their own jobs. Many of them have startups, the single parent, all this other stuff. Respect their time. But I think this Yammer thing would allow them some interface at times where they can communicate with the students that are more flexible for them. So I think that's the next thing. I like to make this mentorship a little more tied in with the technology. This process of mentorship tied in with the technology that in the classroom. Yes, ma'am.
How do you assess the students?
Oh, in the entire course, or
Yeah.
I do a multi-phase process. One is, well, I have a process thing. How many times do you show up for class? Okay, basically we do a lot of in-class work, and I'm just very, I'll give you 1 or 2 absences, and after that you need to lower your grade expectation. Okay, and then they have multiple reports, and then their actual campaign. A lot of it is actual engagement, their ability to manage my impression of them. Okay. So, and I kind of run it like, most of them are juniors or seniors, so they're going to be entering the workplace, and I kind of treat it like I'm a senior's account manager at a search agency, and they are account managers. And so, okay, show me. Yeah. So, somebody, yes.
It sounds to me like what you created is a solution based on limitations of what Angel and LMSs kind of had for us. So maybe this is a question for you and for the students. If Angel had an app that actually worked on a mobile device, and you could use all these things and sort of incorporate all of them so that you wouldn't have to separate what was done in Angel for the assessment piece and what was done, like, could you use it? Maybe if we called it something besides Angel?
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, I always wished Angel worked on an iPhone or an iPad. It doesn't really at all. I mean, I guess I would use an Angel app on a mobile device. I mean, I guess you can't really compare Yammer and Angel because Angel's more as a CMS, like course management system, and I mean, Yammer's more like a Facebook, like a mobile collaboration suite. I mean, maybe. I mean, I know Angel does have those discussion board kind of features in it. Yammer is kind of like that too. So yes, I guess I'll say yes, I would use a mobile Angel.
If there was like a way that Yammer had almost like site tabs to all your classes, and then underneath it had like your course content as well as like an easy access to your grades or your slides or all the other course information, I would definitely use it over Angel because one, I hate Angel on a desktop, and two, and I hate that it shuts down from 4 to 6 a.m. every single morning as well. But I mean, I just don't like Angel. It's just always slow. It's very like a temperamental site, and I think the way that it's set up is completely not user-friendly for the students. I mean, I would think if anything, renaming the Angel app would be pointless. I would say almost doing what you were saying was almost embedding like the good aspects of Angel, because I mean, who even uses course discussions on Angel? I mean, I've never used that. I don't even know. So.
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting critique of Angel. Let me also add, as an instructor, I have used Angel. Okay, I came here in 2001. I've used it from the very first semester, and I tell you, I have lost functionality. I've lost functionality.
Moreover, there is some problems to upload the files in Angel from if you are using the Safari
I know
or.
all about it.
You're preaching to the choir.
Watch the Internet Explorer, that's all.
Exactly.
Difficult.
Exciting stuff is like you're so interested in like, okay, Facebook is separate, Angel is for this, Yammer is for this, but here you're using all these things for a class. So I'm wondering if we had a cool way to use the actual class infrastructure globally, you would engage more in class. Functionality existing within the system.
And I mean, I think this is like completely different, but I mean, if there was like something where also like LinkedIn was almost like a part of Yammer as well, because it gets really annoying to have to like sign up for all these things like Meal Simplicity, which is another account where I have to see all these people's profiles, and then I have Angel, and then I have Facebook, and then I have like Twitter, and then and I mean, Angel I feel like is completely separate, and then you have LinkedIn as well, which is, LinkedIn is a posting type of site as well when you're connecting with other professionals. But then when I was introduced to Yammer this semester and I got on it before I even saw our course page, like when I was just on the main site, I saw that it was like a networking basis for professionals, and I was like, oh, this is really cool, but then why do I need all these different things downloaded on my phone? Why can't there just be one thing?
We have time for one more question. Yeah, just one more question.
Okay, fight you two. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, there's so many questions here. This is going to be hard. But, one of the examples up here, the displacement of tablets to desktops is a perfect example. Technology is always going to keep moving. It's always, you're going to be displacing technology at all times, and there's a room full of people who know different technology. I wanted to ask actually the students, and then I want to hear your answer after theirs.
Okay.
Because there's also a room full of designers, and the course structure lends itself obviously like real world problem solving and data feedback, and it's pretty dynamic. That's a nice automatic kind of built-in structure and objective for the course. But I wanted to hear from a student standpoint, given what you just heard in the keynote about motivation and having access to all the information and tools that allow you to get information and make it dynamic and competitive and 24/7. how does all of that, the technology and the information access and the teamwork and the structure of the course that Jansen put in place, how do you think that that makes you better learners and better professionals also? So,
I talk really
I mean, I guess it's really just a pure convenience thing. I mean, I've had professors who hate Angel, don't use any Angel, everything's paper, handouts. And I've had other classes where it's a completely 100% paperless class. It's all on Angel, it's all email, it's all other kind of online stuff. And I really kind of like those paperless classes. One, because I mean, I'll hopefully never lose my phone. So like I always have all that content at my hand 24/7, wherever I am, on a mobile device, on a web browser, on a computer. So I think that's a really beneficial thing. So I guess like having that kind of like electronic version of the class really helps a lot. I mean, that's a big resource.
I don't know if you were targeting more like the complete structure of the class or like motivation as the aspect, but I mean, I think the class, just all the things that we use together and just the overall dynamic of the class, being able to create your own campaign, and then using all of these tools on the side that engage you with the students and that engage you with the instructor. And then also having a small size class where when one person's absent, like everyone knows that that person's not there. It's really motivating to actually go to class, and the class is a later afternoon class, so it's not like the best time. But I mean, I really enjoy it, and I think the class structure I think it's developed in a way that students want to do this, and they want to achieve success, and they want to make it the best for their business because they've put so much time and effort into working with this business and saying that they're going to do all this stuff. And then I think all these different tools and resources that we have only help to facilitate the, I guess, self-efficacy and motivation that we all have because of the way that the class is set up.
All right, thanks everyone. We're out of time now.
Can I just-
One thing I was going to say, if this is an interesting discussion, want to continue the discussion later?
Yeah, so Dr. Jansen and I were actually both TLT fellows this summer, and parallel to his project, I worked with some educational technologists on what Yammer type modalities are like when applied to the university at large. So please come to our session at 1:15. Yeah, check out the handbook. It's Fostering Living Learning Communities Online.
Thank you. All right. Good.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.